to Tactics Talk with Guido. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I do appreciate your support. Got another replay analysis request here from a player I haven't worked with yet. Silverlakerider from the clan T-Boom. He's driving his T-62A Tier 10 Russian medium tank. Sent this in and asked for some honest criticism, so we'll take a look at that. He ends up dropping quite a bit of damage on this game, about 6,000. But it ends up being a loss at the end of the day. There's no artillery in here, and he's in a pretty good setup with a 3-5-7. He's going to head to the middle, which is not a bad idea with a T-62A because the turret is pretty strong. Depression is not amazing, but it is relatively flat here, and you can work around the issues of depression pretty easily. With no artillery, he's not worried about getting thumped, so he can back down and protect himself. And right off the bat, he gets this scout that pops up, and then we kind of abandon taking shots. What I'm going to say right off the bat, Silver Lake, is there's a couple times in here where you'll have somebody potentially another shot or two to take on him, and you'll pretty much automatically back up every time you shoot. And I think there's some opportunities for you to stand in and take a couple more shots. I'm not saying go up and completely highlight yourself on that one. It may have been that you didn't quite get up there, or you couldn't expose yourself enough really, or didn't want to expose yourself enough to get another shot on that GF, but you didn't even investigate it. You just shot and backed up and let him go. Hopefully your buddies can kill him, but it doesn't look like they do. Might have taken that shot right there on the mutts. So as this fight develops, good positioning I would say overall. Somebody needs to control, I usually call it the 5-6 line, but all the way over to 3 or 4 is good. And when you have a mobile tank like Silver Lake's driving, he can get from this area all the way back over to this area where the WZ is pretty easily in there and deal with any issues on either side, which is why this is a pretty good spot for a mobile medium tank. The IS-7 is late to the game, and nice shot. Just pop one right in on there. Shot of opportunity, that's the kind of thing you need to do to win games in World of Tanks. That's just a free shot right there. And he didn't have to expose himself much to get it. There's the IS-3. Now the guys on the hill, this is starting to develop. So the hill will start to develop. He's got quite a good push up there. He's a bit weak on the 1-2 line, depending on how that fight goes over there, but there's scouts and people watching it, so right now comfortable that nothing's going on there, and there's a pretty good stack of the enemy in the middle. In fact, the 140 and the mutts are more or less doing what Silver Lake is doing right here, which is looking for shots of opportunity in the middle of the map, because you can reach both sides of the map. Alright, this is another example of shot prioritization. The scout to me is the bigger issue right now. He's also the easier shot. I don't have to expose myself near as much. If you're thinking that, hey, he's lit, my buddies will kill him, that's one thing. But for me, I always go after the priority myself, and so be it if someone else kills him first, that's fine. But hey, let's get rid of a scout, because scouts on Malinovka are very dangerous. This works out for you because you actually snap a shot and get a bit of damage in there. It also works out because your buddies do kill the M4190 GF. So I'm not saying the game swung on that, but it's just those kind of decision-making situations where you want to prioritize the right guy. Now, it very well may be later on that you need to take down the TD based on the tactical situation, but early on in the game like that, man, if you have an opportunity to get rid of their scout without getting yourself crushed, do so. There's another example right there. You shoot and then you go forward and then you back. It's not a bad idea, and I see a lot of people play it that way, but you don't have a very large expectation of being seen here because you're really using the vision game on these guys on the hill very well. So just sit there and zoom in. Because if he goes away like that, at least you know where he was last. And that time you were able to do it. But there'll be a couple times in the future where you probably could have got another shot on a guy that just went dark, but you weren't exactly sure where he was because you keep rocking back and forth. There you go. So nice job there. And for those of you watching at home, what he's doing here is he's really using the vision game on that hill. Now, I'm assuming you're doing that on purpose. It looks like you are, so let's just go with the assumption that you are. But if you look at his yellow line, it's just barely lighting up guys there. Now that there are more guys lit and you've got a pretty decent push on that hill, I would probably ignore this middle crap that's going on, because those guys aren't going to come up and over without getting punished. I'd get over here where this FV is, probably on this side of this hill right here. There's a little ridge right there that makes it kind of a pain. Or maybe even next to the FV, and start looking to take shots on all the guys on the hill. Now, these guys are on the back side, so those will be fleeting shots or turret shots. But still, you can start making them a little bit worried that they're taking even more shots from here. You can also look for shots like the IS-3 right there, trying to push up a little higher, or the T-44. In fact, where that FV is, there are times where you can come forward and actually sweep across this area over here if these middle dudes get a little too crazy. But what you're going to do is hang out in the middle a bit. You do move over towards it here. But you can't quite draw the guys that are further back on the hill up there. On this map, it is a symbiotic relationship between the sides. And it definitely took you a long time to kind of see that Centurion. Had you been over there with the FV and concentrating on the east flank, you'd have had shots earlier on this Centurion right here. And something keeps spotting you. I assume it's the guys that are right there in front of you, which is why where the FV is a little bit better of a position. It's harder to get spotted right there, unless they're coming up as well. Now you can see there's a heavy drawn up there as well, and you're not paying attention. And this is why I said, why I really think you needed to be over here and concentrate on cleaning up this flank. You're looking at this 140, which you're never really going to get a good shot on unless he does something really stupid. So why not just ignore him for the moment, come over here, crush these guys on the hill, and then we can all swing around and start worrying about the guys in the middle. You're there keeping them honest, and that's great positioning. That heavy got completely away from you. You definitely had shots on that dude. And now we see, oh boy, moth to the flame. There's a light over there. So, I mean, we're all getting a little seasick because you're really trying to cover too much at once. And don't get me wrong, the position is great as far as covering and if you need to flex. But there's also a point where you need to concentrate on one flank or the other. I had somebody else sent me a replay with kind of the same thing recently, where they're trying to do everything at once and they ended up doing nothing at once. Great damage game, lots of pew-pew, but never really concentrated on a flank where it was important. And this is where we get into this discussion that what is, I'll spit it out here, useless damage. So it's something, other terms are used for it, empty damage, useless damage. Games where you do a lot of damage, but you're not really affecting the tactical or strategic situation of the game. I would say the strategic situation of the game. That means you're probably rocking on the tactical portion, at least as far as where you immediately are when you get these 5, 7, 8,000 damage losses. Probably would have stood in there and looked for a shot or two more. That guy was tracked, and a T-34 is not going to back up very fast. You might be able to guess where he's going. Things are not lost. We're not doing great. And they have quite a big stack right there. So the danger of doing what I said as far as going over the FE is obviously worrying about things like the IS-7 and his IS-3 buddy coming up and over and hitting you in the side of the turret while you're pointed up at the top. But that's what's so nice about these little pancake Russian mediums with their good turrets, is you can often do that and not expose a whole bunch of yourself. Let's get this guy there. Oh, stand in, stand and kill him. Oh no. And it looks like you kind of realize, like, all right, I'm lit, but I need to go ahead and try to start taking these guys down. Do watch on your front armor, right, or on your side armor right there. It is possible right there to actually shift left and keep your hold towards the enemy. I sometimes forget that myself, because you really what you're looking for is fast forward and back, and you don't want to get hit in the side by the object, who happens to be the guy lighting you. That's another reason why I like where the FV is. He still there? Yeah, that's another reason why I like this spot where the FV is. With the pancake tank, often you can sit in this divot here and he can't see you until you want him to see you. So he's not constantly lighting you right here in this open spot, which is exposed to the dudes up on the hill. Oh, there's a Lorraine. Get him. See, another example, the Lorraine is lit. There's shots of opportunity there, but you're being a little more defensive probably than you need to be. Especially considering your team's starting to lose. Kill this guy off. No. And once again, you shoot, and then you go, all right, I missed. I'm going to check over here, and he's still lit and backing up, and you probably had another shot on him. I know you're checking out the 140, but... And then things all go pear-shaped right here. Nice track. Not a lot of options. You're just kind of facing off this IS-3 and trying not to get immediately killed. Your guys are getting munched up. He's going for the round. Holy cow, dude. Here's a technical thing I'll tell you. It looks like you're running a manual. I think you were, based on what I saw. Yep, there it is. Never mind. There's the stupid icon right down there. Dude, run automatic fire extinguishers in 100% of your tanks. There are a few that are not known for lighting on fire, and if you want to run food, that's fine. That's a trade-off you make, and usually people will take off the fire extinguisher if they're making that trade. But goodness gracious, man, run an automatic fire extinguisher. It saves you hit points. It saves you modules. Also, the best part about it is it reduces the chance of fire from the very beginning. So you're A, going to have less fires. You're going to B, lose less stuff, which costs money. So overall, it's actually, of the 3 kits, the most cost-effective of them. And it's probably a wash with the manual as far as cost goes. It may actually even be better cost-wise for the few automatics that you trip, as far, compared to the amount of standard ones that you trip. I didn't explain that very well, but I think you understand what I'm saying. It's just probably a wash. It may be actually more cost effective. It is definitely more battle effective because you don't sit there and burn. Although if you're fast with the manual, you can come close to what you do with an automatic. All right. Sometimes I would end up just not noticing what had happened. Your team's just going down right now. I think that's auto aim. It's going to be an angle right here on this. Or maybe you already did it. Yeah, you already did it. You already got a bad angle on the one. Trying to fight this guy with 18 hit points. And down you go. Again, front armor. That may have been the best bet right then, is just try to spin your front armor to him and look for one more bounce. But clearly that one more bounce on this game was not going to save it. So nice job, man. I want to say it was about 5,900. There were a couple of blind shots in there that actually went in. Initial positioning was fantastic. That's exactly where I would have gone on this map with that tank, especially without Artie. The idea of controlling the middle and working around was fantastic. I think if you were going to turn this game around, and be quite honest, the possibility of that is very low. Or sorry, the probability of that is very low. It was possible. The probability of that is very low. So let's just throw that out right there right now. But if I was to make this come closer or potentially turn this into a win, probably sorting out that hill or helping those guys on that hill a little bit more than you did. Just be a little bit more aggressive on one flank or the other, and keeping an eye on the middle and this other side as you were doing. But I would have minimized my exposure to that 140, gone over to where the FV was, at least for a while, and seen if I could clear some of those jokers off the hill a bit faster. And that may have kept a couple of your hill guys alive. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that after 6,000 and working the middle pretty well, that had you only gone over to the 5-6 line, you'd have absolutely won this game. That's probably not true. Possible, but probably not true. All right, man, I hope this helped you a little bit there. I would say you have very solid fundamentals and grasp. In fact, moving on towards pretty good positioning and game flow skills as well. Sitting at about, I want to say 51%, but improving as you go with the number of battles you got. You're right where you want to be, and you're only going to get better from here. If you got any more you want me to take a look at, let me know. Anybody else out there has a video or a replay they want me to take a look at and critique, I'll do it. I can either do it video-wise like I'm doing here, or I can do it via text, and I'll just send you back a message. However you want to do it. And that is it for me for this episode. As always, we will see ya.